So here we have an L108 John Deere lawnmower, and it has a couple of problems. Main one is it does not mow because it is missing a pulley that blew apart on us somehow. It blew up. And so we're gonna be placing the belts, drive belt, and the deck belt, and the blades, and the pulley that it blew up. All right, let's get started. Okay, so step one is we're gonna get under here to the belt, or to the deck. And we're gonna start taking the deck off. So there are these pins up front, and we're just going to slide them out. And make sure you have your deck all the way lowered, because we're gonna want it flat on the ground, resting on the ground. So there is our first pin. There's only one pin holding the deck on in the front. We'll come to the rear of the deck. And here we have two pins. Set the brackets down. There are these little washers. So we have two pins, two washers. Now there's just the one on the right side. Now we're just going to lift up the deck a little bit because it's now resting, or so it can rest on the ground. So now it is free. The deck is now resting on the ground. The only thing that is stopping us from pulling it out is the engagement cable. So we'll just take that off. So remove the cable. So there we have it free. And then there's the spring. Just like that. We'll remove that, the cable. And now we can slide the deck out. Very easy. Very easy to do. And since it's so easy, it'll make it easier on ourselves to replace the belt, because we'll have to get it aligned with all the pulleys and stuff. But as you can see, this thing's just all messed up. And man, that bearing is just shot. And then we'll be replacing the blades inside, and we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so in order to get the belt off, we're going to have to take off these little metal things, belt keepers, whatever you want to call those. And they're very easy to get off. There's just one bolt. So we'll start with that, and then we'll get off this, and then we'll take off this cover, and then we'll go to the next step. So grab your 10mm and come over to that bolt that's holding in the belt keeper, and hopefully it's not rusted in there. This deck's very old, and we're actually going to repaint it while we have all the stuff off. We'll just give it a nice good rebuild. And I've actually done lots of welding on this thing, on the deck, just to keep it together. So if you don't have one of these stripped head removal tools, I would suggest you get one. If you don't want to buy one, then you could try heating up the nut or the bolt, and looks like we're getting it with this. So definitely try heating it up. That'll probably work. 15mm here. Just gonna block it with our foot so it doesn't move. And there we go. So just take these cover bolts, belt cover bolts off. Okay, so if you have one, I'd suggest you use an impact gun just to make life easier. Just to get these bolts out. Just don't go too hard because you might break them. And there's our 3 cover bolts. And there we have our cover. And there is our sad old belt. All right, so we got our all apart. Just get those out of the way. And as you can see, gotta take off this bearing still. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna wash it all off, and then we're gonna repaint it real fast. And let's make this nice deck last a little bit longer, you know? As you can see, it has holes everywhere, but she'll run. And put this over there. So yeah, let's wash her up and we'll paint her. All right, we got it washed up pretty good. Now we're just gonna put some degreaser on it real fast and then just give it a quick scrub, just so it has a nice clean surface for the paint. I also sprayed the inside of it. Man, this thing was nasty. But right now, let's spray it, or let's wash it. We'll put it under something, under the garage eave, so it dries easy. And then we'll paint it. And then we'll put the new blades in, and then we'll start putting the new parts on. All right, got it all painted up. Not the best job, because, well, quite frankly, this deck is probably not gonna last much longer. This has so many holes, and it's just blowing out because it never got washed and stuff. So anyway, that's that. But got a nice little coat on it. Help it last a little bit longer, hopefully. So next is we'll let this dry. Then we'll replace the blades. Okay, so I've given up trying to take off this drive belt. It's just gonna be too hard. Plus it works, it's not in the worst condition. Just getting off the back would be super hard just looking at it. So we'll just put this pulley back on, put back on this, and we'll start working on the deck again. All right, time to get the blades. 15 millimeter. Put our foot. All right, so we got the blades out, no sweat. Well, a little sweat because they're pretty hard to get off. And we got there's some paracord wrapped around under these, so just check for that with yours. And they're spinning quite freely. Well, this one's not because it's on the ground. Anyway, so now we're just gonna put our new blades in. You see this, they have this little curve. And just make sure you put that that curve half pipe shaped up. And yeah, we'll get these in. Doesn't really matter about this sticker right here. Just make sure that you puncture through the sticker, I guess. These are on. Got the right size blades, thankfully. And then we'll just hand tighten these in. And I'd recommend you put like some anti-seize. Recommend you put some anti-seize on the threads. Put it right there. Just make sure you block up your blade. Alright, so now we'll just take our breaker bar with that 5/8 with our block. And then we'll just kind of put our foot in here to keep the deck from going anywhere. And then, don't worry about foot pounds. Just give your best judgment. Not like amazingly tight, just like not snug, but reasonably tight. All right, this one's in. Sweet. And that's good right there, boys. Alright, sweet, blades are in. That wasn't too bad. And yeah, let's put the pulleys on. So small problem when I was about to put the pulleys on. This, apparently when I was moving it, kind of caved and busted. So we're gonna have to do just a little bit of welding, and then we'll just spray paint back over it, and we'll get that taken care of. Alright, got some welding done. Welded up that with my flux core welder, and then needed a little bit right there, but I already touched it up with the paint. Now let's put the pulleys on. Got the right pulley, 15mm, which is strange for a John Deere because it's supposed to be made in the USA, but got that all welded up, by the way. Oh yeah, nice pulley. So the smaller one, that's the tensioner, like the belt engagement pulley, I won't be replacing today, but I did order one. It'll be super easy to replace once the deck's on. Just get under there, take the bolt off, and slap the new one in. Don't really need to have the deck off. Yeah, this one's okay anyway. Just kind of spins nicely. It just kind of makes a little noise. And we have our belt diagram here, which is nice. Alright, so we got our belt. So let's look at our diagram. So this one wraps around. Like that. So there's our belt, and we set it up before we put it under, or before we put it in the mower. Makes it easier. Oh, almost forgot, we need to put our little belt keepers back on. Should be easy. And our plastic cover that goes here, and that'll be it. And come over to the other side and hitch them up very easily. Put the pins in. Get it hitched up like so, and then we'll put in this guy in the front. Very easy to put on the deck. Just pins and stuff. And we'll take our other pins and put them on the other side. Alright, then the last thing for our final adjustments are putting this belt in properly. It goes in between these things, which that needs to be tightened up. And let's get on the other side, so we'll get this tightened up. And the belt and deck are in. The last thing that we need to do is actually tighten the cable, which we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so our cable is a little bit loose to engage the mower, so before we put our pin in, we're just gonna take this out again and take our 10mm, just hopefully try to crack this just enough so our purpose of doing this is to slide it, but it looks like it's all the way back. Oh no. Okay, so we're just move it back a little bit there, and then we'll put our cable back on. All right, deck's in. New belt, pulley, and blades, and she should be ready to rock. Engagement cables adjusted, nice and tight now, and there's that new motor. That is the conclusion of this video of working on the L108 John Deere lawnmower. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, subscribe and hit that like button.